And how did you deal with that moment, Mike Stern moment, like problems with alcohol and that kind of stuff? How was that for you?
Well, I was no angel either.
To say the least.
Okay.
We were in it
Yeah,
together,
same
baby.
vibe,
We
same
were in
vibe.
together. We were high as kites, baby. But
But it
we
was
we
kind of
came
like
through it.
everybody was getting high.
A lot of people.
Like a lot of people were like,
When Mike Brecker first got sober, that was drew a lot of people in.
right.
He
Oh,
really helped a lot of people
He
just
helped a
by
lot. Yeah, he.
it being Mike Brecker. Everybody knew he was getting high like
I thought I
crazy.
couldn't play without doing drugs, because I was very afraid to play because I always got so much attention being a woman. Everybody was like, what is this gonna be when it's finished? Like, look at her. Oh my God. So it intimidated me a lot. So I took a little bit of drugs and I said, I don't care what anybody says.
A little bit.
No, but it helped. It helped me overcome the 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 conception people had that it was gonna be sweet and pretty and not fast, medium tempo, and it was driving me crazy. I was like, too much attention and too much bad attention. So the drugs helped with that because it made me not care what anybody said, which turns out is not such a good thing in
No,
the
of
end.
course not. It's not. It's not.
It's
Everybody,
not.
even Charlie Parker said that. He said it got in the way of his music. You know,
and he died young,
he
very young.
died young.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But at first it didn't get in the way because it made me brave. At first it helped.
Yeah, it depends, but not really.
But then you pay too big a price for it, You're gonna have to earn your bravery honestly,
On
You
the
can't just take
later
a
on, it
pill
just
and be
puts it
brave.
off.
Yeah, it just puts it off.
Did you ever get into that? Drugs
No, no,
taking?
not
Not
much.
so
Like 2 or
much.
3 years when I was younger.
Yeah,
But I did. After that,
you stopped.
I stopped drinking 22 years ago.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
good.
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like when you are high, you think that you're playing awesomely,
Right.
and you listen to your sound. You said, "Man, that's crappy." I thought, well, I was amazing.
Yeah, and then you listen to those recordings and you think,
Yeah.
and sometimes they come out okay. It depends, but most of the time, on balance, it takes away.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
takes away from your
So,
soul.
so I want to ask about Charlie Banakos. Do you
Yeah.
know him? Did you
I
know
studied
him?
with him.
She
I studied
studied,
with him.
yeah, also.
Do you know him, Charles Banakos?
No, I know about him, but I
About-
never,
I never
Because
met
met him.
when I went to Berkeley, I heard from a teacher. His name was Mark White. Do you know Mark
I think
White?
so. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he studied with Charles Banakos as well. And the story was about the 12 chromatic approach that he had. That you got deep on that, and like you disappear for like 6 months, maybe a year, and you come back like playing all the chromatic stuffs. And everybody was like, "Man, what happened to this guy? Like he's playing so crazy right now." So what happened?
Well, I was just studying with him. That's all, and still playing gigs around. I never finished at Berkeley. I went, because I joined Blood, Sweat, and Tears,
Okay.
and then, but Berkeley really helped me because before then it was basically blues and rock. Is what I was playing. I got into jazz. But because my mom used to play a lot of jazz records around the house, and I used to learn by just taking records to my room and trying to play along.
But was Charlie Banakos a Berkeley teacher on that time?
I don't think he ever taught at Berkeley. He
Yeah.
was just So with me, it was at that point. I don't think he ever taught at Berkeley. It was just a
He was a
really
prodigy.
great,
I think he played
great-
with Sonny Stitt when he was 14 or
something like that.
15.
But he was a prodigy for sure. It was amazing. And then he just decided to teach instead of the price you pay sometimes when you perform. It wasn't for him. So he wanted to teach, and amazing teacher. He just developed all these things for soloing and for teaching improvisation and composition, a whole bunch of stuff. But anyway, I studied with him, really, really took it seriously, and it helped a lot. you know. And I was studying with Mick a little bit too, who was also amazing, you know.
Mick was at
Goodrich.
Berkeley.
He was not at Berkeley at that
New
time.
England Conservative.
He was. He wasn't even in New England. Then at that time he had stopped at Berkeley. He was just playing with Gary Burton, and he was teaching privately. And then he went back to Berkeley and New England Conservatory, I think both maybe. But Charlie was one of a kind, and he just had so much energy for music that you couldn't help but kind of get infected by it. You know, hey man, yeah man, this week man we're gonna do this. This is some other crazy stuff, you know.
But he was the only one that taught me how to play pentatonic scales in groups of 5. Because everybody does it in groups of 4 and 3, but he says it's a pentatonic scale. Pentatonic means 5, so you do it in groups of 5. So the accent shifts over the things. And then I always looked at what he got from Charlie, because I was curious, because he gave different things to everybody.
Okay.
And he got very angry. He said, you cannot, it's like a doctor prescribing medicine for you, and you take the medicine for the other person.
Because she would show me what she was studying. I said, hey, tell me what he's showing you. And then he got pissed off about it. Not really, but he said, no, that's not for Mike, that was for you. But it was all good. All good. Great
But it was
stuff.
very individually textured to what you needed.
Now there's that guy Gary Dial, you know about him?
No.
He studied with Charlie the most, probably a lot. He's a great piano player, and he's teaching Charlie's methods and his own. Gary Dial, spelled like Dial. Gary, I think, is two R's, Garry. But anyway, he is teaching all that stuff. And he's amazing. And I'm studying with him very, very off and on because I'm on the road too much. But that's somebody I want to pick up with again, just to keep going.
It is-
you know?
But we
Always you
studied with a
learn.
classical teacher too, both of us, with Edgar Grana from
Juilliard.
And that was a different experience to study with a classical teacher. I remember he asked me to write a melody, just a melody, without a bass line or chords. And it was very difficult for me to just write a melody, because he said the melody rules. And he was a little bit a classical. He thought classical music was the best thing that ever happened to men. So he was very surprised at jazz. He thought that was like entertainment music for parties, you know.
Okay.
But he had a lot of good points. The study of classical music is evolved over many centuries, and they came up with some really good tricks, like that trick of writing a melody that holds up by itself with nothing else, just a melody, is a really, really good exercise. We don't do that in jazz enough. We think of a progression and then we write stuff that fits into that progression. But there is so many progressions that can go with one melody. He taught me that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Different ways of looking at music is very interesting.
I think it's good to always have a teacher.
So you still have teachers sometimes?
Gary Dial, kind of, but
Okay.
I haven't really, I haven't had time to do that since Charlie passed. He died. I was studying with him off and on for 30 years, but it was more like about 8 years in that whole time. But that's a long time to study with somebody. And then, and I had a couple of different teachers, and I still study on my own, of course, but that was great just to have somebody to give you something every couple weeks.
And